Bande Matram, welcome to this English session. Here we are going to have a brief discussion on bad impulses and thoughts. So, most of the time we are affected by those impulses and those thoughts. Of course, it is on the very lower side we are suffering. We don't know where it is coming because we are that much unconscious really. So most of the time we get affected, we lose the track, we get depressed, we get harassed, but we don't know where really it actually evolves, it emerges, where from where really it is coming. That is the great thing. Due to our unawareness, as we are not able to analyze, of course, understand where, how it is affecting, from where it is coming. These are the great things which are really affecting us in many ways. Here, anyway, we are going to have a brief discussion from mother's quotations. One question was put to the mother: why we come to you? We try to be at our best possible, and that is to have very good thoughts, but often on the contrary, all the bad impulses, bad thoughts we had during a day come forward. So why only that question was like this? So why instead of these good things, good impulses, good thoughts, we are suffering from these bad impulses, bad thoughts? What is the reason? And probably there is in the from the questioner it is very much clear, and the hidden agenda is how to get rid of them. So the same thing, the mother also explains, perhaps so that you can get rid of them. It is coming. You must get rid of them. That is the very much important thing that we have to do. We have to perform. That is the objective. So if they come, one can offer them and ask to get rid of them. Things are coming, no problem. As long as we are not conscious, we are not aware, it will be coming, because that is a flow. It will be coming, it will be affecting like this anything. So once you are conscious, and once you offer them to the divine mother and try to get rid of them, then naturally that flow will stop. It will now itself you are the customer for him, for all these impulses. Suppose you are conscious, you are aware, you have got rid of them, you have overcome them. Then again, the next step mother tries to explain here, that perhaps is the reason. It is because the consciousness asks for purification. That is what the great thing mother has quoted and tried to explain us. Consciousness asks for purification. That is the thing. Because without really that true purification, it is very difficult. Because most of the time, what really we do, instead of purifying, we try to actually try to hide them forward. So suppose you want to go for the colorization of a room, you want to color it, paint color it. So what you have to do? It is an old building. Initially there was color, so you have to purify it. You have to clean it, and after cleaning all these things, you have to put the required colors. That is what the point, and that is what the track here. Perhaps the reason it is because the consciousness asks for purification. It is no use at all hiding the things and pushing them behind. Already we have discussed. Most of the time we hide, we go forward as if everything is not necessary. Suppose this color is there, you have done something in a very bright red color, you have painted your building. Now itself you want to change it because it is already discolored. So finally you have to clear it, and after clearing it you have to use the required whatever the enamel is there, that primer will be there. You have to put them, and you have to get it polished. Then finally you have to put the color of your own choice. But instead of doing all these things, simply suppose on the red color, it is there, initially it is there. On the red color, you are going to put another color, suppose something black or blue, something like, sorry, blue or green, it we are putting. Then finally there will be some mixed color. Instead of getting the color of your choice, you will get some mixed color there, like this. And imagining they are not there, because one has to put a veil in front. You imagine, you try to pretend that everything, nothing is there. So you are putting a veil instead of purifying it. You are keeping and you are hiding, and of course you are actually overshadowing it. It is much better to see oneself as one is, what really you are, how you are, your what purpose and everything that you must know. Better to see oneself as one is, provided one is ready to give up this way of being. Otherwise, okay, yeah, let it be there, no problem for me. If there is no problem for you, then why are you going to search? No, it unnecessary, you are wasting your time. So when you feel the need of purification, then itself there is no need of hiding. So you have to polish them, you have to purify them, then you have to come for the final one, as I have given the example of colorization. Again, if you come allowing all these bad moments to rise to the surface. Most of the time we do, mostly we hide them, we ignore them, then we hide them, and the latter we try to bring them to the surface to show themselves. If you offer them, if you say offer them, well, this is how I am. Truly, this is your true picture. This is what I, how I am. And if this, at the same time you have the aspiration to be different, now itself there is no aspiration at all. Simply you know it is there, you are hiding, you are trying to bypass the things, you are trying to conceal it. And once you make up your mind and you have got, you are trying to come for a change, then the aspiration will be different. Then this second of presence is extremely useful. Once you want to be changed, if you want to come to the surface, to the floor, and you have the real intention to be changed, so that extremely useful, this presence is extremely useful. You can say in a few seconds, receive the help you need to get rid of them. Once you aspire, once you make up your mind, once you aspire, once you are ready and you aspire for that, means that help will come within seconds and you will try to get rid of them. And while if it comes like a little scent and go away content without having received anything, it is not useful. So for that, actually that systematic procedure is there. Suppose that mother code. So while if you come like a little saint, as if you don't know, some little saint or something very innocent, and go away content without having received anything, the things are coming, but you are not receiving like a little saint. You are making, you are dramatizing your life. That concept, then it is not very useful. Automatically, the consciousness acts like that. Automatically the consciousness acts like that. It is like the ray that brings light where it was there was not anything. It was totally darkness. That ray of light, it is coming and enlightening it. Only what is needed to be a state where one wants to give up the thing, that consciousness, that awareness, that determination must be there, so that one must change, one must try to overcome, one must try to get rid of, one must try to get elevated, come to the surface. That willingness must be there, that awareness must be there, that aspiration must be there, not to cling to it and to keep it. Mostly that second page, normally people do with a lower consciousness, inferior consciousness, they try to cling to it and keep it. If one sincerely wants to pull it out of oneself, that is what Mother's final verdict supremely and in a very purified manner, Mother has explained. If one sincerely wants to pull out of its oneself, make it disappear, and then it is useful. Whatever is coming, make it disappear, let it perish, let it go. That is, there is no other go. Already, as I have already explained you, that the building you want to color, it means totally you have to encolor, and means you would have to you have to remove the colors. After removing the colors, then you have to put the required primer and putty and etc. You have to put, you have to prepare the surface, then only you can apply the required color, whatever you have intended. That will be useful. Otherwise, simply see, there will be darkness, there will be odds, there will be so many dots, and that on that only simply you are going, putting your required color, whatever you have chosen, and it has got absolutely no meaning, because the rest of the thing, whatever was there, it is like this. So original color, neither the old color is there nor the intended reason the color which you have put that is there. Simply it has come and discolored your thoughts, not only your buildings. Again, Mother Courts offer the wrong movements. That is a great thing, great word Mother has quoted. Instead of driving a wrong movement on underground, it is to be offered. Most of the time, we try to hide. We try to okay, let it be there. Once you have written, known the story, Mother came and reached the place where really the dust were actually covered up, and this sadhak is actually in a very confused. How, why unnecessary? Why mother is rushing inside? Mother showed that you have done this. This dust, they have come to me and complained against you. You should not do it. So, like this wrong movements, if you are driving underground, it is to be instead of doing it underground, you have to be. It has to be upper. It is to place the thing, the movement itself, to project it into light. Instead of keeping everything in the darkness, you have to project it into the light. Generally it wriggles and refuses, never tries to change, wriggles and refuses. That time what you have to do, that is the only way you have to do it. And that is why this consciousness is so precious. You have to reach that much, that consciousness, that awareness must be there. Then only you can be able to do something. That consciousness is precious. Well, what brings about the suppression of the idea of good and bad, a kind of contempt or shame for that what is considered bad or what you like this, then you don't want to see it, you don't want to be there. Naturally that consciousness has to be reached. It must not be there, it must be there, it must be done, it I must overcome, I must get rid of it. This is good, this is bad, this ideology, this concept, that must be very much clearly understood by you. The first thing, the very first thing to realize, that it is a weakness of your consciousness, weakness of your consciousness, great thing, that makes the division, and there is a consciousness in which that does not exist. One consciousness, there is actually weakness of consciousness. In another you can find the consciousness where it does not exist, in which that we call evil is much necessary, as what we call good. That consciousness is there, both are required, evil is required and good is required. That if we can project our sensation or our activity, our possession into the light, will bring the cure. If we can project our perception, activity, light, then we can find the cure. Instead of suppressing or rejecting, other course, instead of suppressing or rejecting it, something to be destroyed. It is needs the complete perishability, complete destruction. It can't be destroyed. It has to be projected into the light. It needs transformation change. But because of this, I have had the several days in very interesting experience, not 1 or 2 days, several years of experience, several days of experience. Instead of seeking to throw away far from oneself certain things, does not accept certain things, instead of doing that, you accept them, take them as the part of oneself, and offer them off. Offer them. If it is there, you try to recognize it, you try to identify it, try to make up your mind, and try to offer them to the divine. That is great. They don't want to be offered. They don't want to be offered, but there is a way of compelling them, because normally they don't be offered. They want not to be offered. They want to be as it is, as they are. So that time actually you have to compel them. That is the next step. You have to compel them. The resistance is diminished. Naturally there is resistance, there is no doubt of it, but actually that is diminished in the proportion as we can diminish in us our sense of disapprobation. And if we can replace the sense of disapprobation by a higher understanding, disapprobation will have to be replaced by a higher understanding, then we succeed. Unless otherwise you are overcoming you are getting elevated, you are not actually making a way and just, not moving away from this little bondage and a little periphery. Very difficult will be there to succeed. It is much more easy, Mother I can quotes. I believe all that is all. All the movements that drag you down must be put in contact with the higher understanding. Most of the time we can find there are actually something is there that drag down, that pull you down. So in that case what you have to do, you have to simply get in contact with the higher understanding. That is the only way. Only way, because most of the time what we do normally, we are in the very smaller or inferior consciousness, very lower consciousness, and we don't want really to change, to get rid of them, to understand, to judge. And even if it is there, something is known to us, we don't want to afford because they don't really want to be afford. Under that condition you have to do what you have to do. You must judge what really are pulling you down. That must be in contact with the higher understanding. It needs a change. It needs to be perished. It needs to be thrown down so that these great things will happen. Bad impulses and thoughts, it will be coming, and you must give it offer the wrong movements, and you must be in contact with the higher understanding. That's all.